Hi everyone, it's me, Krylios, Team Rayceen Productions co-host and moderator.
And I'm Erin Palmer, Team Rayceen Productions co-host and moderator.
Joining us is Josh. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here with you both.
Pleasure.
Hi, Josh. Thank you for being here. Before we talk about Bet Mishpachah, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became involved with the congregation?
Of course. So it's a little bit of a journey, my story. But I moved here in 2015 to the Washington, D.C. area to volunteer with a faith-based community that is dealing with work with the homeless. And once I did that for about a year and a half, I started looking for organizations that really supported, my passion, which is just giving back to the community, especially within the religious context. I went to several different organizations, both secular and faith-based, and I got really involved with just the Jewish community here in DC. So I started volunteering with my own congregation that I'm a member of called Washington Hebrew Congregation, where I served on a variety of task force there. But most importantly for me, their racial equity task force and looking at communities of belonging and how we create those spaces for everyone. So whether you are LGBTQ, you're a person of color, you have some sort of disability, really looking at how we as a Jewish community create those spaces of belonging. And from there, I joined the board of our Jewish Federation here in DC, working on the same type projects. And at that point, was all volunteer work. And I recognize, if I really want to make the change that I want to see in the world, why not find employment doing this? And then that's when the position opened at Bet Mishpachah as their first inaugural executive director. And so I've been in the position for about a year and 3 months now, and it's been such a great journey.
Awesome. Sounds like an amazing journey. Please share with us a little bit of the history of Beit Mishpachah.
Of course. So Beit Mishpachah is DC's only LGBTQ plus synagogue. We were founded in 1975 by a group of 4 to 5 gay men who, due to the time period, really did not feel comfortable praying or worshiping in their own respective synagogues because they were gay. As we all know, at that time, life was not, easy for gay people, especially when it came to living, their identity out loud. And so these group of men came together and started praying together at someone's home. And in a few short years, that small, intimate gathering of 5 to 10 people blossomed to over 100 people, where they then had to, at the time, look for, a place of worship. So they met at different houses, and then they went to different churches and then different community centers. And now currently we are housed at the Edlovich JCC Community Center in DuPont Circle, where we have been since the early 90s. But it's so, when I'm ever talking about the history of Beit Mishpachah, I was not around in 1975, but it just amazes me the strength and the courage really that these members had at that time to kind of step out on their own into the unknown and form this community for themselves. A lot of the folks that are members, at the time were part of the military. They were part of, government institutions or other businesses that just would not allow them to be gay. And so forming, this congregation for themselves, by themselves, was an outlet for them.
That's
Beautiful.
pretty incredible. Can you talk a little bit about the current work of the congregation and maybe how it's evolved over time?
Yes, exactly. So we were founded as an LGBTQ synagogue, but our membership spans, the entire community. So we don't just have LGBTQ persons anymore. That is a majority of the population of our congregation, but we also have our straight allies as well. And people, now show up not just because they identify as LGBTQ, but simply because they like being in the space on Shabbat service on Friday nights or Saturday mornings. One interesting thing about us is, we created our first Siddur or prayer book that we use for ritually for Shabbat services. And it was the first printed prayer book, I guess Jewish prayer book, that used inclusive language. And so when there are things mentioning God, instead of using the pronouns he, him, God was described as creator, or God was described as a parent instead of a father, which is, that traditional text. And so right now we try to keep that tradition alive by offering, the really diverse religious experience and services for all of our members and guests. We've also, over the last couple of years, ramped up our social justice work. So most recently, we are very passionate in doing a lot of work for the refugee community here in DC, because that crisis, unfortunately, does not seem like it's going to be going away anytime soon. And so we really want to be out in the community. And for the past several years, we've been looking at ways in which, we can be better neighbors to everyone, especially in the DuPont area, and not just exist as this, institution, that was only created for ourselves, but we really were created for the entire community.
Amazing. I'd love to ask for those people, not versed in Hebrew, could you explain what Bet Mishpachah means?
Of course. So Beit Mishpachah, translated, means house of the family. And that's what we really are. Okay, right? I mean, we are a family. Like I said, when we were created, it was a time where people really didn't have a family. They didn't have that opportunity to connect with their, blood family, due to the fact that they were members of the LGBTQ community. And so we had to create our own space and our own family. And 47 years later, we're still thriving.
Amazing. The work sounds so lovely, and as someone whose love language is acts of service, it's very appealing to hear about the dedication to giving back to community. So, as some of our viewers know, World Pride will be in DC in 2025, as will the 50th anniversary of Beit Mishpachah. And I was wondering if you could tell us about upcoming events or how you will commemorate that wonderful occasion.
Yes, so we are super excited to be celebrating this milestone for us. And 2025 is going to be a huge year. I mean, like you just said, World Pride will be here. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's also the 50th anniversary of Pride in DC, and those celebrations. And so we're looking to join in all of that. And one of the things that we have planned right now is there is an organization called the World Congress of LGBTQ Jews, which was founded in 1978. And so they will be convening for the first time in several years, especially after COVID. And we will be planning a weekend of events with them, featuring different speakers from the international LGBTQ community. And culminating that entire weekend will be a huge gala celebration downtown in DC for everyone, not just the Jewish community.
Wonderful. We're all looking forward to World Pride, and I'm looking forward to see, how you celebrate and commemorate this special and wonderful milestone. So, talk to me a little bit about how being Jewish and LGBTQ impacts congregants' perspectives on issues concerning bigotry, bias, and social justice.
That is a wonderful question. Thank you for asking. I think there are so many layers, or I guess I should say that the intersectionality of it all, right? So being a member of the LGBTQ community and being Jewish. Right now, especially, we are seeing just an enormous rise in hate. We're seeing an enormous rise in anti-Semitism. We're seeing, legislation being proposed in many states that have to deal with basically anti-transness. And that's, a passion of ours right now is, how do we show up as the LGBTQ Jewish community and fight for our trans community? And so it's something that we discuss as the LGBTQ synagogue, but also it's something that I discuss with Federation here and other synagogues. Is in order for us to combat this evil, and I truly do believe it is evil in this world, which is hate, we have to take all of us, so not just the Jewish community, but our LGBTQ plus brothers and sisters, and we have to stand up and say, we're not going anywhere. And for those of you who hate us, you can either change your hearts or learn how to change your hearts and educate yourself, or move on, because this world is for us as well, and we belong here just as much as anyone.
So important. Josh, for our viewers who want to stay in touch with you and stay in touch with Bet Mishpachah and learn more, how can they do that?
Yes, absolutely. So you can visit our website, which is www.baitmish.org. You can also email us at info@baitmish.org, and we are on Instagram and Twitter, at Bet Mishpachah for Instagram and at Bet Mish on Twitter. You can also feel free to email me. Very easy email to remember, executive director at baitmish.org. And I would love to chat with anyone who has more questions about the life of the organization or the life of an LGBTQ plus Jewish person in the DC area.
Thanks so much for that, Josh. Viewers, please look in the link below for please look in the description below for the links. There we go. Yes, viewers, please check out the description of this video for the links. All right. Josh, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been such a pleasure getting to chat with you, such a pleasure getting to learn so much about Bet Mishpachah. And we thank you so much for being here and sharing everything about you. So it's awesome to be here. Thank you so much. And we hope that you will continue to do the work and keep it going and being such a safe space for queer and Jewish people in and around the DC area and all over. So
exactly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
To those watching, please follow Team Rayceen on social media.
And click around our YouTube channel and check out our other interviews, vlogs, forums, and more. While you're there, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Most of all, viewers, thank you for watching.